Hey familia, Miranda here, and welcome to another episode of First Viewing, where I share my thoughts and recommendations with you guys on films that I watched for the very first time. So I got a little bunch to get into, not like a whole lot. Have been a little bit busy lately, so I haven't been watching too much. But let's go on ahead and get right on into things. So first up, I did finally check out The Fourth Kind. This was one that I had just kind of heard a lot of talk on, heard that it was pretty creepy and everything, and well, it definitely does have its creepy moments, that's for sure. I will say, like, I definitely like the whole kind of like documentary setup that they used for this, even though it's not like an actual like documentary. But this story of this basically is supposedly based on true events. I don't know how true they are, you guys, because when you actually go and try and like Google the information and stuff like that, not really a whole lot comes up. But basically, you have this like psychologist or whatever, and she does the whole like hypnosis thing on some patients, and a lot of them are starting to have these like similar stories about seeing certain things, not remembering what happened or anything like that. And then it turns out that she also is kind of along with the same story for her. And so it just has to do with like the whole kind of like alien abduction thing, which, like I said, there's definitely a few creepy moments in here that I was like, oh my gosh. But I don't know, you guys, like they put, I guess, actual footage from like some of these like, you know, therapy sessions and stuff like that. And so yeah, just the setup of this, and they even warn you in the beginning that, you know, like what you're about to see, blah blah blah, and it, you know, it's for you to decide what to believe and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just some, I guess, like really strange occurrences in this little town in Alaska called Nome, some disappearances and everything. And so it was definitely, yeah, if you're into like the whole alien abduction thing, I mean, definitely check it out. Like I said, it's set up more as like a documentary. They do provide you with like supposedly like actual footage of these therapy sessions and like some occurrences that took place and everything. So yeah, honestly, for me, I'm not huge on, you know, kind of like sci-fi stuff, like alien related stuff. I don't know. I don't know if I really believe or not. I don't know. So this was just a fine one-time watch for me. Like I said, definitely some creepy elements to it and everything. And I like the whole setup of it, and like storyline and everything was kind of, it was fine and all. It's just not really one that I see myself watching repeatedly or anything like that. All right, so next up we have the Delivery Boys. This one was a big no-go for me. Like, it was just a really kind of dumb film, and I did not find it funny, like, at all. Like, I'm sure maybe for its time, whenever it came out, 1985, I mean, I'm sure it may have been, like, a huge hit back then. People probably found it, like, absolutely hilarious, but I didn't, you guys. Basically, you have these delivery guys. They deliver pizza and stuff, and so they're actually a group of like break dancers and stuff like that. And so there is some break dancing in here. It's not like the greatest. Like, I've seen better break dancing, you guys, trust me. But yeah, basically you have one person who pays one of their coworkers to have it so that they don't make it to this like big competition or whatever. So they get sent to on these really weird deliveries. You just meet some really kind of strange characters along the way, and it was just a lot of like, what the hell am I even freaking watching? But it was just so freaking dumb, you guys. I just did not, I find myself laughing or anything like that. And I just seem very kind of pointless. I don't know. I did not dig the storyline at all. Like, it could have been so much better. And I mean, even just their strange deliveries, like I said, like the characters, they were odd, but they just weren't like funny. And the whole breakdancing stuff, there could have been more of it in the film, and it could have been way better. So this is a absolute no-go for me. All right, so next up is this film here called Come Out Fighting. Oh my gosh, you guys, I wanted to like this one so much more because I am a huge fan of like war films and everything when they're done right. I mean, there's some pretty good ones out there, but this one, honestly, for me personally, I would have to say that this is probably one of the worst war films that I have ever seen. Just, I don't know. I mean, look at these four, like, kind of, you know, guys on the cover. They're all, you know, star cast and everything, but I honestly felt like these poor guys all got robbed of their talents in this film. Like, their roles could have been so much better, and just the acting in this was very poor. I'm sure they did not have a good budget for this film because the practical effects themselves in here were pretty dang crappy. Like the explosions and everything, they just look so freaking fake, you guys. And I wanted to like this one more because it is based around a all like African American, team. And they go on this little rescue mission to save their commanding officer, and along the way they also save this like fighter pilot while taking on the Germans and all of that. But it just did not have like any excitement to it. Like the storyline, like I was kind of digging it, but it could have been so much better. Like they could have done so much more and put just more like kind of like inspiration or something into it. It was just missing like emotion or something, to really kind of put the storyline and put the characters out there. Like I said, their acting in here was not great. They seriously, yeah, they got effed with these roles. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, I wanted to like this one so much more, you guys, but I don't see myself watching this one again. All right, so I did check out Battleship, and this one, you guys, I mean, it wasn't like as bad as people made it out to be, but it was pretty bad, you guys. I mean, I didn't think the effects were all that terrible in here. Like, they were okay. But like the storyline itself, like, I don't know. I mean, sure, there was like a bunch of explosions and they're fighting off these whatever creatures in these like ships and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, the creatures, like these alien dudes, whatever, they were very cheesy looking. Like, I have no idea. They look like a mix of like, I don't know, like a mole or something with like porcupine beard. I don't know. They were very cheesy looking and stuff, but this just lacked like so much like excitement and emotion and all of that. Like, there's like, okay, the movie just kind of like passed along, but it wasn't like exciting or anything like that. It doesn't like try to like pull you in or anything. And Rihanna, of course, like what was the point of her being in here? Like, seriously, she was just like a pretty face on the screen, kind of thing. So, I mean, she barely had like much lines at all. So, I mean, it was really just that. Like, they just wanted, maybe to like pull you in because Rihanna's in here or whatever. So, but that seriously did not work. But yeah, I mean, practical effects, they were fine and stuff. CGI was fine and everything. But the storyline itself just kind of lacked more excitement and more emotion. Just like, I don't know, just the characters too, they needed more emotion and stuff, and everything just kind of happened like a little too easily for them, I would say. So I don't know if I would really watch this one again. Because it wasn't as terrible as people were making it out to be, but I mean, it was okay. All right, so I finally did check out Slumdog Millionaire, and you guys, this film is just absolutely fantastic. Dev Patel's performance in here is fantastic. I mean, oh my gosh, you guys, he was just absolutely amazing. And like the film itself, the storyline, it's kind of beautiful, but at the same time, it is very, very just a heartbreaking story. Just everything that as a child he went through, and basically to get to the point where he is now on the game show, obviously, and stuff, and just like the sacrifices and everything that he went through, and just all of the bad things that he had to undergo and everything. It definitely pulls at your heartstrings, this film. But it's very inspirational kind of story, and just, yeah, Dev Patel knocked it out of the park with this performance, you guys. I mean, it is just a great film. There's not really much else that I can say on this. I'm sure the majority of people have already seen it, but if you haven't, don't hesitate. It is absolutely just awesome. Yeah, you have Dev Patel's character. He goes on to this show that's like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and he's like one question away from winning, and like people think that he's cheating and all that, but just so happens that all of his kind of life experiences kind of go along with the questions that he's receiving and stuff like that, and so that's kind of how he knows all of the answers and everything. So, but very, very good. All right, so I was happy to finally check out Poor Things, because this definitely got like all of the hype last year when it came out and everything. And yeah, I finally got around to watching it. And I gotta say, you guys, I thoroughly enjoyed this one. It has a unique kind of humor to it. and it is definitely as bizarre as people said it was. It's out there, you guys, that's for sure. And let me just say, like, yes, there is a lot of sex stuff in here. I mean, they might as well have just made this a freaking porno, a weird ass porno at that. But it was, oh my gosh, just Emma Stone in here. She was absolutely fantastic. She was a total hoot. I just really enjoyed the oddness of her character in here and everything, and just her mentality and all of that. And it was just absolutely hilarious. I was just like seriously laughing the whole time, and just there was never a dull moment in this film, you guys. And so I just love the bizarreness of this film. It is just so unique and easily, like, probably her best performance yet, I would have to say. And just everyone in here, like, all the performances were just absolutely fantastic. But I really loved her character and everything, and just everything she got herself into and stuff. And she was just, curiosity and stuff. So definitely check this one out, you guys. But do be warned that there is a lot of sexual stuff happening in here and whatnot, and like graphic nudity, all of that. So but if you're just looking for something, like you're into the odd, bizarre stuff, definitely check this one out, because it is right up there. But it is just a good time, and just it's a unique film, you guys, that's for sure. So I checked out American Beauty, and I definitely enjoyed this one for sure, you guys. I definitely see why it was nominated as, Best Picture and everything. And, Kevin Spacey in here, he was fantastic. And Annette Bening, I didn't really care much for her, but you also have just a fantastic cast in here. You also have Thora Birch, Allison Janney, Peter Gallagher, Mina Savari, Wes Bentley. I mean, pretty dang stacked cast there. Like I said, there was definitely some really good, like, character chemistry, and the storyline, I dug it for sure. It was a great kind of little, I don't know if you really want to consider it like a thriller, but it's one of those films that kind of grows in intensity and stuff. But basically you have this couple who is obviously Kevin Spacey and Annette Bening, and their marriage is kind of like on the rocks, and so things start to kind of happen, and then it all just kind of starts to spiral out of control and everything, and whatnot. So but yeah, I thought this was really good. And now I know where Bad Guy comes from, and not another teen movie. So, but yeah, I definitely thoroughly enjoyed this one, and do recommend you check it out. It is a very good just storyline all around. Like I said, there's great character chemistry, great performances throughout and everything. And if you're into those kind of stories where it just, grows kind of in intensity, this is definitely for you. But I definitely see why this is a well-loved film. All right, next up is Last Flag Flying. This one actually, recently somebody was talking about it. I was like, oh yeah, well, I got this at Dollar Tree. It's been sitting on the shelf. They said it was really good, so I went ahead and checked it out. And it is. It's a really good film, you guys, but it's not necessarily one that I see myself watching again. I definitely, so basically you have Steve Carell's character, which, mind you, this is a more kind of serious role from him. Him and Bryan Cranston here, and Lawrence Fishburne, they were at war together. And so it's like they hadn't seen each other since they were like 20 years old or something like that. And so Steve Carell comes along, kind of gets the two of them together. His son, who was at war, died, and so he basically wants them to accompany him to lay his son to rest and everything. And so it's more of a kind of reminiscing and just kind of like deep talk, about the past, and, just, things that are happening now in their lives and everything, the past that they chose and all of that. And again, just kind of going back on some of the stuff when they were at war and everything. So it's more of a conversation type film. But they do definitely kind of find some obstacles along the way that I'm not really going to go much into or anything like that. But I would honestly say, though, that Bryan Cranston is more of your main guy who kind of stole the show here. There's just always something coming out of his mouth, you guys. He's actually quite the character. He is a bit of a drunk and everything. And Lawrence Fishburne, obviously, he's a reverend now and everything. And, well, Steve Carell's character, he's kind of more, hasn't really done much, I guess, with his life or whatever. And obviously, he's mourning his son and everything. But, so yeah, they take this little road trip to, get his son buried. Well, they have to go pick him up and then, take him to get buried and stuff like that. And like I said, it's just kind of them reminiscing and you know, just kind of like deep talk and stuff like that. And of course, Bryan Cranston always has something to say. But yeah, so I mean, I enjoyed it for the most part. Like, I thought it was a really good film. I do enjoy those kind of films that are kind of like more like in depth and stuff like that. It's just, you know, three old friends get back together after, you know, several years of not having seen each other and stuff. So it's one of those kind of films, but it's not necessarily one that I see myself watching again and again or need to watch again, because I just didn't feel like it had that like big impact on me or anything like that. So, but it was good. Last Fight Fight. All right, so Summer House Slaughter, you guys, stay far away from this one. So it was absolutely terrible, terrible, terrible. It wasn't even like exciting. So you basically have this killer who's dressed up in this panda suit, goes around killing these cheerleaders, because these cheerleaders, they go to this kind of like little summer house to kind of practice cheer and stuff like that or whatever. But it's not even like good cheering or anything like that, you guys. It was very kind of lame. It almost seemed like this movie was filmed with like a cell phone or something, just because the quality was so freaking bad. Like, this was kind of hard on the eyes, because there is certain like parts in here, like there's cool tones, but they're kind of very blurry. And then you have these really, really bright scenes or whatever that looks like you can barely even see the people's face, because they just did not know how to like blend or contrast or whatever the colors or anything like that. So it was a little hard on the eyes. But yeah, the storyline of it, yeah. So there was like a group of cheerleaders. They were killed in this house, or, you know, on the land of the house or whatever, like a year prior. And then you have these other, you know, group of girls who are also cheerleaders that come there. And so they're there to practice. And so little by little, they get knocked off or whatever. And like, everything though, it was very, very predictable. Like, you could see like when the panda was coming and stuff like that, and it wasn't even like gory or anything. It was just very, very dumb, and the acting was absolutely terrible. The storyline kind of sucked. You have this like random witch lady who's like kind of telling the story or whatever. Like, what was the point of her? Like, I don't know. But this is just garbage, you guys. Stay far away from it. All right, and last but not least is this film here called Nothing Bad Can Happen. This one, I'm kind of debating whether I want to keep this one or not. It is actually quite a disturbing film, you guys. But you basically have this kid. He's not necessarily a kid. I think he was like 20, 21 or something like that. And he's part of this kind of like underground, like Christian, like punk movement. So, you know, they dress all kind of punk and stuff like that. And they just have these really strange beliefs. And it just felt like this movement, like this group of friends of his, it seemed kind of like he got brainwashed or something like that, because honestly, he was more of a believer in God than his friends were and stuff. And he just really had this like kind of interesting mentality, let's just put it that way, where nothing bad can happen, like everything happens for a reason. But it just so happens that one day he meets this family. Their car won't start, and so he kind of helps them out. And the fatherly figure, you know, afterwards, some time passes, and afterwards he basically kind of purposely walks back into the picture. And I mean, all this kid wants to do is pretty much, you know, spread his religion and stuff, you know, spread Christianity and like the beliefs that, you know, this punk movement has and all of that. And so the family, they, you know, kind of find it interesting. They're not really, you know, believers or anything like that. Well, at least, you know, the parents aren't anyways. And so they decide to kind of like take him in, and sure, things kind of start out fine and whatnot. But this is one of those films that kind of slowly grows in intensity. It slowly like spirals out of control. And let's just say that this kid, he gets tested to a certain extreme, that's for sure, by the fatherly figure. And the motherly figure, she just kind of goes along with him. And let's just say they're, in a way, just kind of a sadistic couple. Like, yeah, they're not right in the head, and you kind of feel even for the kids and everything, because I mean, they have to put up with everything. The daughter, the older daughter, I mean, she's like of age or whatever, she kind of falls for the kid and everything and whatnot. And like, it just is a film that in a way just makes you very mad, because this kid, despite all of these tests that he's being put through, like he thinks that it's God testing him, so that's why he's being put through all of these just bad, terrible things, and it's just one thing after another. And it's just crazy to think that in his mind he sees that it's okay, but in a way it's him, he thinks it's like his duty to save like the kids, especially the daughter, and kind of sacrifice himself in order to save her. So he thinks that just, yeah, all of these experiences that he's undergoing and everything is just tests that God is putting on him. But in reality, it's just this like sadistic couple who are not nice people. And so they're two are just kind of brainwashing him and kind of getting him to think that like, yeah, like they mess with him and just be like, okay, well, they do something bad and they're like, oh, turn around and be like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, it's not gonna happen again, I didn't mean it when I said such and such thing or whatever. So I mean, they're just mean to him, you guys, and it is so sad, and it just pissed me off that every single freaking time he kept going back and back and back, and oh my gosh, you guys. So yeah, it's disturbing for sure. I thought it was very, very well done. There's a great atmosphere in here because they just provide you with all these like kind of like cool tones and everything that just really set the mood for the film and stuff. But I don't know if I would want to watch this one again, even though I did really dig the story and just the whole like disturbing aspect of it and stuff like that. It was definitely an interesting kind of topic, because let's face it, religion, you guys, well, there's just some crazy beliefs out there, let's just put it that way. So but I would recommend this one if you're into disturbing. Like I said, it is a little bit of a slow burn at times, and it does take a bit for things to kind of kick off and you know, start to spiral out of control. But very, very well done, and I thought it was actually pretty good. So yeah, so nothing bad can happen. So that is it for today's video, guys. Let me know if you have seen any of these films and your thoughts on them. I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching. Join the family if you have not, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.